Hello, and welcome to Lazy Entertainment. I'm your host, Joe.
And I'm Dylan.
Today, instead of a Dill discussion, our new coined phrase for that, we're going to be doing a Joe-scission.
Or Joe-versation.
Yeah, we still aren't decided on that. But mine is going to be more in the realm of movie review.
Slash TV show?
Yeah, slash TV show slash YouTube Red series. Because it's not TV or movie. It's like less than B.
Some more entertainment based.
Yeah. I'd say with that. And it's actually about something that literally, at the time of recording, came out actually 2 days ago. Because we record late at night.
So May 2nd.
Yes, there we go.
How exciting.
Anyway, so it's a show that just recently came out, or series. It's called Cobra Kai, and it is a spiritual successor to the Karate Kid, which came out back in the 80s, I believe, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
And essentially it's 34 or 38 years later from when they were kids, and they've moved on in their lives. At least one of them has. Daniel had actually grown up, dumped the girl that he fought for in the original movie.
Real fast, can you give some background on the original movie? Because I haven't seen any of it. I know you didn't see it either, but I know you know a little bit. Should we put like a spoiler tag?
Yeah, there should definitely be a spoiler tag, but I figured Kevin would just edit that in at the very beginning.
Yeah, okay, well...
Like, no, another spoiler.
Yeah, triple entendre. But just so that way those...
originally, the original Karate Kid, essentially Daniel was the main protagonist.
Okay.
And I honestly don't remember his name, but the kid from Cobra Kai in that movie is the main antagonist. And they're both fighting in... Daniel gets bullied by the kid in Cobra Kai. And so he wants to learn karate. Jeez, I can't even talk. Look, I'm turning into Dylan from like last episode of this, but on Dill's side.
Go ahead, continue talking. And let me know how that makes you feel.
As you spill water all over the table. Anywho, so essentially they end up fighting because Mr. Miyagi teaches Daniel how to do karate, and then it all loops around. Daniel wins, gets the girl, and all that kind of stuff.
So does the antagonist also know karate? Coincidentally?
The antagonist is the original kid because he was a bully. So
No, that's what I'm talking about. Is like in the original Karate Kid.
Yeah, no, he already knew karate because he started going to karate first.
Oh. Props to Daniel.
Yeah. So Daniel learned later. Oh, hello, Lord Nibbles. No. Go.
Shh. Just go ahead and talk.
So now in this, it's in the last episode or last part of the movie in the original Karate Kid or last movie, whatever it was, the antagonist gets kicked in the face and loses. That's how he loses. But technically he wins because of a technicality, and the sensei for Cobra Kai literally hits and breaks the trophy. Like, he hits the kid and breaks the trophy because he didn't deserve the win. Because he wasn't playing with no mercy and all this other crap. I wouldn't say it's crap. It's like legitimate stuff. But I haven't seen the movie, so I can't completely say. But so then 38 years later, moves on to them as adults now in their midlife crisis sort of area. They're not going through midlife crisis.
Wait, why didn't you just say Middle Ages?
Because I'd rather say midlife crisis. Because, I mean, kind of midlife crisis stuff goes on.
Oh, okay.
So... I'm so mad that you, took half my water. I'm not even going to drink it, but...
Yeah, exactly. You had said right before we started, I'm not going to drink this water. So, I mean...
But, so... The guy who taught from Cobra Kai.
Can we let's give him a name? What kind of name? How about
Johnny.
Johnny?
It's Johnny.
Johnny Boy.
It is Johnny. No, it is Johnny.
Oh,
it is Johnny.
All right, so Johnny Daniel.
Johnny
very
ends
American
up.
Names.
Yes, very much so. In a very non-American style movie. Anywho, Johnny ends up working actually for rich people, but not in the way you'd think. He literally like cleans their gutters and sweeps out their pool and does their septic tanks and crap like that.
Oh,
quite literally. So he does that, and he ends up getting into an argument with this lady because she was like across from the door, and there are like 4 doors in the room, and he's like, "This is across from the door," and she's like, "No, it's not. I said across from this door," and he's like, "Well, I mean, I can't do this today. I'm like out of time," and she's like, "Well, you need to move it. I have people coming over," and he's like, "Well, quit." Like yelling at me, but he used a different word. And she's like, "Did you just call me other word?" And he's like, "No." And then he gets fired. So, yeah. Then he goes to do a drinking binge, which he does multiple times during the movie. It's pretty fun.
Wait, hold on. What is the age range for this movie? Because when I had briefly glimpsed you watching it earlier with Max, I thought it was like 10 years, like preteen kind of rating. PG-13.
I would definitely say it's for it's for people who watch the original movie and it could actually comprehend the original movie, which I would say it's a spiritual successor, so it more tends to those people. Yeah. That's why it's a YouTube thing, because it's a niche group of people.
Okay.
However, there are going to be other people who watch it, so I mean, it's honestly a great great show.
What are some things that it did well? You know, aside from
it had phenomenal character development.
Really?
To be completely honest, yeah.
You said 10 episodes.
Yeah, 10 episodes right now, but it obviously led into a season 2. So, and I definitely guarantee that they're gonna have a season 2 to it. And when it comes to the way, like, I'm gonna say this, and Daniel turns out to be like an antagonist in this instead of being the protagonist like he was in the original, in the movie itself. So what? It's like, at first I could understand people being like, "Oh man, this is kind of dumb. Like, he would never be the antagonist. He was taught by Mr. Miyagi and all this kind of stuff. He knows not to be the antagonist." But the entire show portrays him as the antagonist the entire time. And then it flip-flops near the end, the last few episodes.
So is it like a misunderstanding sort of deal?
The entire show is a misunderstanding. The entire show. It's
kind of skeptic, honestly, because I feel when it comes to something like that, it has to be done either really well or it's just poor.
No, it is done really well. So what ends up happening is Johnny ends up protecting one of the kids who lives in this apartment building from getting beat up using karate. Yeah. So the kid bothers him, "Hey, teach me that. Teach me how to learn karate, this, that, and the other." And
teach me how to doggy.
And then it moves from him, he lost his job, and then he's like, "I don't know what to do." And his stepfather, which you come to learn, he actually came from a terrible family as well.
Stepfather did, or Daniel?
No. Johnny came from a terrible family, and that's the only reason he joined Cobra Kai dojo, because it gave him a sense of empowerment and a sense of belonging. Makes sense. It taught him how to be the person that he was, which for him, it was better than the life that he was living at home.
Makes sense.
Even though he came from an actual rich family. It's just his stepfather was an absolute, just mean person, and it was
an absolute mean person.
Yep, that's how I have to say it. So what ends up happening is his stepfather comes and visits, and he gives Johnny a check for an undisclosed amount of money. It doesn't actually say. It's just like a check. And he says, I'm buying you out because I don't want to bail you out of anything else. Just stay out of my life, is what his stepdad essentially says.
And this happens during the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Johnny's like, I don't need your money. He rips the check and throws it in the trash.
Johnny! Oh my god.
But listen.
Think about how many apple seeds you could have planted.
Anyway, it goes on, and he decides to open a dojo. So he literally digs through his trash and takes the check to the bank, cashes it, and opens the dojo. But, issue being, he only has one student. And the student isn't paying because his parents don't believe he should be doing... Well, his mother doesn't believe he should be doing this, and his grandmother really doesn't care. She wants him to be able to protect himself, but his mother is like, kind of, don't get into violence, stay away from violence. You're a good kid, you don't need to be into all that stuff. Which kind of comes...
It's such a stereotype. Whenever it comes to anything martial arts, it's always like, you're such a good kid, don't get into violence.
Mm-hmm. So what ends up happening is he starts learning, he gets bullied again, and he ends up beating the crap out of the bullies eventually.
That's fantastic.
And then they recorded it, put it on YouTube, and then all these nerds came to Cobra Kai to learn how to do karate. And I say nerds because in the show, it calls them nerds and losers.
This is 2018. I thought we were past nerds being having a negative connotation.
Oh no, and it is definitely portrayed in a negative way. Should have thought about filling that up more.
Well, I thought...
So that ends up happening, and he gets more customers, which end up paying him money, which helps him actually pay his stepfather back. And then he said to his stepfather himself, I never want to see you again anyway, gives him his money back and takes off.
And is it at the end of the show?
No.
Wait, is this like halfway?
This is like about halfway, I'd say.
I feel like so much has happened. I thought the halfway point was like the stepfather being like, I never want to see you again.
Nope, that was near the beginning. Wow. That was like episode 2. So beyond that, Johnny and Daniel have multiple interactions throughout this. Most of them are not good. They're not, in general, good light. It's just, they don't want to be with each other, around each other, because they're rivals. So, yeah, that's that part of it. Then, as we move forward, Johnny starts training people, and he gets to a point where he wants to enter them into the All Valley League, which is the same, or All Valley Championship, which is the same as the one that Daniel and Johnny fought in at the very beginning, or at the very end of the movie series.
Correct, yeah.
So they end up Johnny ends up trying to get in, and they deny him because Cobra Kai is a banned dojo from the league. Completely banned from after it was run by the previous person. Johnny's kid actually comes into the picture as well, which he hasn't seen in like ages.
How old is this kid?
The same age as the kid he's training. Which, sorry, I should put that in there as well. The original kid that he's training is, if you were to look at it, it's essentially Daniel. When it's essentially Daniel in the movies. So you have to think of that kid as Daniel and Johnny as Mr. Miyagi at the beginning of this, at least.
Yeah.
And then Daniel is kind of the antagonist, like I said. And when it moves forward, it kind of shifts. And you see that Cobra Kai hasn't changed. You would think that with time, Johnny would have learned, you can't do things the same way. Otherwise, it's going to happen. The same results are going to occur.
Yeah.
So they shift back into the Cobra Kai state of mind, where it's no mercy, so you do absolutely everything you can to win. You take advantage of people's weaknesses and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny to think that he literally trained nerds to pick on nerds.
Nerdception.
To like put it in perspective, that's essentially what he did. And in some parts they even pick on the popular kids, and it's really funny. The popular kid that he ended up beating the absolute crap out of is literally afraid of him and will never go near him again. He saw him once and he literally just did a 180 and went the exact opposite way. It was phenomenal. Like I said, you have to think of
Danny Jr. as Daniel.
No. Wrong.
That's what you said.
No, I said Johnny as Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
And the kid that Johnny's training.
Yeah, Danny Jr.
No.
Well, that's why I'm labeling him as
No.
Daniel Jr.
No.
Because he's basically...
Because Johnny's kid is not getting trained by Johnny.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not talking about Daniel Jr. right now.
No.
No, I'm talking about the other one because I was going to put it into perspective with the other one. You just got lost in the circle.
Well, okay, so... Because you had originally said Mr. Miyagi, which is Johnny in this case, was training his original pupil.
Yes.
Which was like Daniel.
Which is like Daniel, yes.
That's why I'm calling that pupil Daniel Jr.
But you...
That's all I have to say. Daniel Jr.
Okay. Johnny's son hates Johnny. But as time goes on in the show, he actually wants to be with his dad again because his dad said some stuff to his mom and his mom didn't tell him. And he's like, okay, my dad opened a dojo, maybe I'll go learn from him and we can get like a father-son relationship. Which, Deus Ex Machina, right?
Yeah.
He comes up...
I get accused of it quite frequently. I wonder
very
why.
Much so. He walks around the corner where the dojo's at and he sees Johnny hugging his pupil and he's like, nope, I hate my dad again, and I'm gonna go do something else. My dad hates Danny LaRusso, which is Daniel's name.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go work for Daniel and train under him, and yep. So Johnny's son trains under Daniel LaRusso without Daniel knowing that it's Johnny's son, and in the end, he gets mad at the little antagonist. Daniel gets mad at the little antagonist because he never told Daniel that Johnny was his dad. It's very convoluted.
That's why I feel like Johnny's son should just be called Johnny Jr. But then Daniel Jr. is not the son of Daniel, but he's the spiritual successor of Daniel.
I guess. So as time moves on, they train, and there's montages that are way too early in the show to actually be montages. They're really weird. It's like, a montage usually happens right before the big fight.
Yeah.
These happen in like the middle of the show. It's like really, really weird. There was one point where Johnny sicked dogs on his students.
What?
Yep. Yeah, it was quite interesting. One of them had to go get rabies shots. It was pretty cool. But so near the end, we'll just skip to the end here for time's sake. Cobra Kai comes out. They basically dominate the entire field in the under 18 championship. That's what it is. And it's down to two people that...
No, not the drink.
No, I know.
Okay.
It's down to two people from the Cobra Kai dojo.
Okay.
And then Johnny's son.
Yes. Who
entered unaffiliated because Daniel was mad at him and didn't go in as his dojo instructor. Or his sensei.
This Johnny Jr. seems like a troublesome child.
Oh, he is a very troublesome child, and if you were to watch it, he's just all over the place. like you wanna like him at the beginning, and then you don't because he's just a little bad kid. He just wants to get into everything, and he drops out of school and to work for Daniel LaRusso. He gives a phenomenal high school transcript, which he doesn't have because he's not out of high school. And all this other stuff. He then he's in with the wrong group of people, and they actually want to steal from the dealership, and he stops them from stealing and all this other stuff. So he turns around to really like Daniel, and that's why he didn't tell him that he was Johnny's son.
Yeah.
So anyway, last fight, Johnny's son ends up losing because he got injured, and Johnny's protege takes advantage. Jr.? Yes, takes advantage of him and hits him in the spots where it hurts him the most and knocks him down the most. And
good.
That's what you root for the whole time until like the last episode. Then you're unsure of who to root for because like so much drama has happened that you're just confused.
I mean, that's honestly, I feel, one of the best ways to make characters is, at least when it comes to something like that, I think a great example is in a recent movie that I have watched. Basically, I just feel it's important to have, in some cases, the protagonist and antagonist both semi-equally likable to where you're unsure of exactly what to do. Like, who do you choose? And I feel like that really creates an interesting dynamic between viewer and show.
Mm-hmm. And it definitely led up to another season because in the end, Daniel actually decided he's going to open his own dojo under the Mr. Miyagi name. So it'd be interesting. And I also realized near the end that the two karate styles that are being used, the Cobra Kai style and the Mr. Miyagi style, literally wouldn't exist without the other one. Because the Cobra Kai style is super aggressive, where you're always attacking, you're never defending, and the Mr. Miyagi style is defend until you have an opening to attack. So it's like, if either one of those styles wasn't there, neither of those styles would have ever existed.
That's interesting.
So it's like, it is what it is. If you ever get the chance to, the first 2 episodes on YouTube are free to watch. However, you have to have YouTube Red in order to watch all of them.
Layers Entertainment has subscribed to a free month of YouTube Red.
We have.
Oh, yes.
That's why everybody in the company got a notification.
Where's my company t-shirts?
We don't have company t-shirts
we'll
because we're too poor.
No, we'll make them this summer, maybe.
If we're going to ColossalCon, we will be.
Either with that, I still think we should. But that's neither here nor there. Is there any closing statements you'd like to make, Joe?
Honestly, I just think everybody should give it a chance and watch it.
You hear it here first, hopefully. And if
probably
it wasn't
not first.
Well, if it wasn't first,
then
hopefully it's better than first.
Yeah, exactly.
So, on that note, why don't you end us off? Finish us off.
Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell for notifications.
And as always, don't forget to stay lazy.
Bye. So to continue.
Welcome back to Lazy Entertainment.
Stop.
I'm Dylan. This is Joe. God. Yeah, there's nothing in it. Kevin, can you get...
No.
Give me a Baja Blast?
Nope.